Hi, Beetle Eddie here. How you doing today? So today, right now, I want to do, since I'm Beetle Eddie, I might as well do something about the Beatles once in a while. So today I'm going to rank each Beatle album. The Beatles made 13 albums. I'm going to rank them from worst to best. In, of course, my opinion. And that's, what I rank today might be different than next week's ranking. Especially when I get to the last couple of albums 1 to 4. When I rank today, tomorrow I might feel totally different. So, as I said, the Beatles made 13 albums. So we'll start with now let me tell you something. There's no such a thing as a worst Beatle album. Every single Beatle album is good. That's why they're the Beatles. Beatles don't make bad albums. But one album got to be at the bottom. So I'm going to say for number 13 is Yellow Submarine. Basically because it's not really such a big album. Most of the second side, all of the second side, is instrumentals by George Martin. The Beatles had nothing to do with that at all. And there was basically 5 songs on that album, 3 of which were on other albums already. Yellow Submarine was on Revolver. All You Need Is Love was on Magical Mystery Tour. And what else was there? So there's only like 3 songs that were new. So I don't really call this an album. So this is why it's number 13. Number 12 is an album which they call With the Beatles. It's a very good album. It has It Won't Be Long, Hold Me Tight. It has very good songs. Till There Was You. I Want to Be Your Man. Now, I'm ranking right now the UK albums. If I was to be ranking the US albums, it would probably be a totally different ranking. Meet the Beatles, in my opinion, is much better than With the Beatles. The reason Meet the Beatles is better is because they started off with I Want to Hold Your Hand. Then the next song is I Saw It Standing There. And then the next song after that, is This Boy. Okay, so With the Beatles is number 12. Number 11. It's the first album that they ever made. They made it in one day. Recorded the whole album in one day. Please Please Me. Very good album. It's a good album. It has I Saw It Standing There. It has Please Please Me, P.S. I Love You. It has very nice songs. So that's my number 11. Number 10, Beatles for Sale. Not to be confused with the U.S. album of Beatles 6. So I like better than Beatles for Sale. Okay. Beatles for Sale had, No Reply, Babies in Black. It's kind of like had a lot of sad songs, a lot of depressing songs. I'm a loser, songs like that. All the depressing songs. Babies in Black, I'm a loser, No Reply. You know, he calls this girl. There's no reply from the girl. It's not really a very happy album, but it's just a good album. They have good songs. Number 9, Let It Be, their last album that was made after they broke up. It's from the Get Back sessions. Nice songs on it. You had Let It Be. You had Across the Universe. You had Get Back. You had I've Got a Feeling. Good album. It's a very good album. Number 8, A Hard Day's Night. Now, this is the first album that they made that had all original songs. Very nice albums. Those are songs from the movie of A Hard Day's Night. Had Hard Day's Night, I Should Have Known Better, If I Fell, and I Love Her. All those good songs. A very nice album. As you know, it's getting closer and closer to 1. Okay. Number 7, Help. The next movie they made. Now the UK version is probably better than the US version. The US version has the songs that's just from the movie, and then they have instrumentals. You know, but here there's added songs. We have I Just Seen Her Face on side 2. You have I Just Seen Her Face, Yesterday. It's a nice album. Now number 6. The next 6 is the top my top Beatles albums of all times. It's getting too strong. When Beatles started to change. Number 6, Rubber Soul. Rubber Soul, great album. The U.S. version is even better, because the U.S. version is like more acoustic, and the U.S. version starts with I Just Seen Her Face, and then it goes into Norwegian Wood. And side 2 they have It's Only Love, which is all I think was on the Help album. The reason the US albums were different than the UK albums was because the UK albums they had 14 songs on each album. The US albums only had 11. So they had to either chop off 3 songs or change it in a way to make a difference. That's why they made their own album. The US has an album called Yesterday and Today, which is all from the songs that were chopped off. Good album. But they had like a whole new album because the albums only had 11 songs instead of 14. The Rubber Soul, the UK version, starts with Drive My Car. I think the next song is Norwegian Wood. But the first song, Drive My Car, rocker. I happen to like the US Rubber Soul better, as I already said, because they started with I Just Seen Her Face, which I think is the nicest song to start it than Drive My Car. Now, the US only has 11 songs, and I still think it's better than 14 songs that they have for Revolver. But it's not the same as the next album I'm gonna rank. The next album I'm gonna rank is number 5, Revolver. Now, Revolver starts off with Taxman, and I believe it started off with Taxman on both. But the Revolver, the UK Revolver is much better than the US Revolver. Not because there's 3 more songs on it. For some reason, they chopped off 3 songs by John. Dr. Robert, I'm Only Sleeping, and another song, which was Dr. Robert, Only Sleeping, and Your Bird Can't Sing. 3 great songs that were on Revolver and on the UK version. That's not on Revolver on the US version. So it seems like Lennon's not doing much in the US version. He only has like 2 songs compared to Paul. But Revolver in the UK is just as much a John album as it is a Paul album. Okay, so that's Revolver was number 5. Number 4. Number 4, Magical Mystery Tour. The Magical Mystery Tour was not a very good movie. It was not a very good a TV movie. It was their first flop, actually, after Brian Epstein died. So they tackled that and they flopped and were making the movie. But the album is great. Now, the album has all the songs from the movie, on side 1, and on side 2, they have great songs. Songs that didn't make it to Sgt. Pepper. For example, they have Strawberry Fields Forever and Penny Lane. And you have Strawberry Fields Forever, Penny Lane. You have All You Need Is Love. Baby, you're a rich man. It's a great album. It's a great album and a very psychedelic album. It's good for the year 1967. Very psychedelic album. Okay, now I'm at my last 3 albums. Now this can go anyway. Today, this is what I think today. Might change tomorrow, except number 1. I don't think number 1 will ever change. Number 1 will be my number 1 for probably until I'm finished on this earth. Number 3, Abbey Road. Now this is only today. Next week it might not be Abbey Road. Next week maybe Abbey Road will be. I said no, number 1 won't change. So next week maybe it'll be number 2. But it's number 3 this week. Abbey Road. It's a great album. You got the great melody by Paul in the end. You got Come Together, Something, Maxwell Silver's Hammer, Oh Darling, She's So Heavy, and the little melody, all the songs in the second side. Great album, great album. It's the last album they ever recorded, and it's a great album. It's a great album to end their career. Let me put it that way. Okay, number 2. And maybe next week, number 2 will be number 3. But this week, it's number 2. Sgt. Pepper. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Paul had a great idea. Just change the name of the band, make it a different band altogether. Of course, we know it's the Beatles, but it doesn't say the Beatles on the cover. So Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. And then you have another single. You have Billy Shears singing a Little Help from My Friends. Concept album. Paul's Concept. And most of these songs are from Paul. Most of it is his idea. Great album. It's a great album, and it always will be a great album. Changing album for eternity. And by the process of elimination, you probably know what my number one album is. And this will always be my number one album. Not because it's a double album. Because it's a great album. The Beatles, 1968. The album called The Beatles. That's what it was called. But it's better known as the White Album because there's no picture on it. Just a white cover. For your information, I'm going to tell you my age right now. I bought this album the day it was released. November 23rd, I believe it was. 22nd, 1968. I'm not going to tell you I was 13. It was my 13th birthday. This album came out on my 13th birthday, around my 13th birthday. Very close to it. I bought that album. There was a local record store right near my house, about 2 blocks away. I came and I bought the record. Must have had a low number. They had numbers of the albums in those years. I don't have the original album anymore. But I bought the original album. Should have kept it. I should have never even opened it. Would have been worth so much money today. Anyway, so isn't that a great birthday present? My favorite Beatles album on my 13th birthday. So I must have played that album about 4 times that day, maybe even 5. Played it and played it over again and over again and over again. I love that album. Still do. Okay, so these are my 13 albums in the order from worst to best. As I said, this week only, it will change, except number 1 will never change. Number 1 will never change. It will always be the White Album. So again, number 13, Yellow Submarine. Number 12, With the Beatles. Number 11, Please Please Me. Number 10, Beatles for Sale. Number 9, Let It Be. Number 8, A Hard Day's Night. Number 7, Help. Number 6, Rubber Soul. Number 5, Revolver. Number 4, Magical Mystery Tour. Number 3, Abbey Road. Number 2, Sgt. Pepper. And number 1, my favorite Beatles album, the White Album. Okay, that's my ranking for the Beatles albums. If you like this video, push the like button and please subscribe. Thank you. Any comments is also welcome.